And of the four Imams, Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, he mentions the madhab of Imam Abu Hanifa is the strictest in this regard. And his comments and the comments of his students are the harshest. He says, the points are, his companions, and by that mean that the students of Imam Abu Hanifa, they clearly stated that it's haram to listen to all musical instruments. And they said the person who listens to them is a fasiq. Fasiq is someone who is a dissolute, someone who lacks moral restraint, or a rebellious evildoer, whose testimony should be rejected. So just for listening to Jay-Z, we do not accept your testimony anymore. And they also said that music and listening to music and enjoying it is kufr. Now, they said it's kufr, but they based that on a weak hadith. So we're not saying what they say, but it just shows you to what extent the Hanafis went. Abu Hanifa rahimahullah said, "Al-ghina min akbar al-dhunub allati yajibu tarkuha fawran." He said that singing is one of the biggest sins that someone needs to leave immediately. And Imam Malik, when asked about singing, he was asked about people who said singing was permissible. He said, "Ma yaf'alhu indana illa al-fussaq." No one would do that except someone who is a dissolute. And it is only the sinful people who do that. And the scholars say this was also based on the view of the people of Medina, meaning the people who lived in the city of Medina, and just a few generations ago they have seen the Prophet ﷺ or the companions of the Prophet ﷺ and how they lived and behaved. So that means they were upon this view as well, because they never saw the companions of the Prophet ﷺ accepting something like that. Imam al-Shafi'i said that the person is a fasiq and his testimony is not accepted. He also has another famous saying. He says, "I left behind in Baghdad something that the heretics introduced, which they called taghbir, with which they distract people from the Quran." So al-Shafi'i is saying people started to come up with something called a taghbir. So what is this taghbir? Basically, it's the type of poetry which encourages ascetic life, zuhd, tells you to leave the dunya. And it is sung by someone while he strikes a rod against some kind of drum or dried skin. So this is the comment of a Shafi'i on something like that. Until now, no video, music videos, no poor clothing, no bad words, calling people to leave from the materialism of the world, and yet he called it something that the heretics introduced, and they distract people from the Quran with this. Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahimahullah, he used to say, "Al-ghina yumbut al-nifaq fil qalb wa la yu'jibuni," that it sprouts hypocrisy in the heart, and I do not like it. And not one of the four madahib said that music is halal. Not one of the four madahib. And of the other scholars, Al-Qasim, he said that singing is part of falsehood. Al-Hasan al-Basri said that if there is music involved in a dinner invitation, in a walima, then do not accept the invitation. And the other scholars, Imam al-Qurtubi, Imam Abu Tayyib al-Tabari, and Ibn al-Salah, and Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali, and Ibn al-Qayyim, and Ibn Hajar al-Haythami, and Makhul, and al-Nawawi, and many others, Ibn Qudama al-Maqdisi, and Ibn Taymiyyah, and al-Sha'bi, and Ibrahim al-Nakha'i, and Abu Thawr, and Nu'man, all of these people, all these great men, all these big names, saw that it was haram. So who will convince you if these people do not convince you?